Hello beautiful people, and welcome to your Astrological Forecast Hybrid, and this one will be focused on the eclipse because we already entered into the eclipse season. We are fast approaching the first eclipse of 2026, which is the new Moon Solar Eclipse in the sign of Aquarius, even though the nodes still are in the sign of Pisces and Virgo. And also this will be the first lunation with Saturn back in the sign of Aries. Saturn re-entered Aries yesterday or today, depending where you are in the world. And also it will be the beginning of the new lunar year, which will be the year of the fire horse that we will be entering into, ending the year of the wood snake, which we've been in since the last new moon in Aquarius, which was on January 29th, 2025. That one was not an eclipse, but this one is. And also we are heading for the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which will take place a few days after on February 20th. So we have quite a busy week to unpack, quite a busy week we are entering into. But before I dive deeper into astrology, I would like to announce that as of the eclipse day, which is February 17th, I'll be running a little mini sale on my website. So if you would like to have a reading with me of any kind, then there is an offer going on between the February 17th, which is the day of the solar eclipse in Aquarius, until the 3rd of March, 3/3 portal, which is the eclipse in Virgo. So if you are interested, then go to my website and that's where you can find more details. So without any further ado, I am going to dive in. So as I mentioned, I am recording this on Valentine's Day, February 14th, with Saturn freshly back in the sign of Aries. And actually, I do want to mention the first aspect that was being made in the sky after Saturn re-entered the sign of Aries. For me, it was last night. For some of you guys, already this morning, was Moon in the sign of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, in opposition with Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Cancer, ruled by Moon, on 16 degrees. So that was the first aspect made in the sky after Saturn re-entered Aries. Why is this significant? Because it connects Moon, Jupiter and Saturn together, and it was on 16 degrees, which is the Tower degree. So let's see what all of this is gonna bring. Obviously, whatever is gonna come to the surface is what needs to take place. Also today, as I'm recording this, Moon is transiting through the sign of Capricorn, but soon to be moving to the sign of Aquarius in preparation for this upcoming eclipse, new moon. And also tomorrow on Sunday we'll have the Sun square Uranus, because Uranus will be squaring this eclipse. This will be the biggest aspect that will be going on for this eclipse. And that is a big one because, of course, Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius, Saturn being the traditional ruler, being on that anaretic 0 degrees of Aries. And this is the very first lunation, as I already mentioned, with Saturn back in the sign of Aries. So we are paying attention. And also the other things that are going on next week, the most important, which, I'm going to mention the Mercury trine to Jupiter as well, because Mercury is already in his pre-retrograde shadow as of February 11th. Mercury is going to station retrograde soon. Let's see exactly if I can quickly find the date when that is. Oh yeah, 26th, February 26th. So right before, technically in between the eclipses, Mercury will be stationed in retrograde in Pisces. So Mercury is already in his pre-retrograde shadow, as I mentioned, as of the 11th, and Mercury will be trining Jupiter 3 times, right? And right before we hit the eclipse on February 17th, Venus will make an exact conjunction to North Node in the sign of Pisces, 8 degrees 56 minutes. And right after the eclipse, Sun will enter into the sign of Pisces on February 18th. So this year we enter into Pisces season quite early, I think, 18th of February. I'm not sure if this is always the case. I think it's a little bit later normally, like the 19th. But this year is February 18th. So this is when we start in the Pisces season. And that will be still with Moon in the sign of Pisces. But of course we will have to wait a little bit for the new moon in Pisces until next month, and also we'll have Moon moving into the sign of Aries on the 19th, so that will be the new cycle beginning. And as I already mentioned, we'll have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on Friday the 20th in the after effects of this eclipse on the 0 degrees, anaretic degrees, 0 degrees and 45 minutes, which adds up to number 9. And yeah, and then what else is going on there? Yeah, then we'll have Venus trining Jupiter before the end of the week, Mars sextile in Uranus, okay, not Uranus, Chiron, Mars sextile Chiron. So okay, so there are quite a few things going on next week. Like I said, the most important of those is of course the eclipse and the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune. And I did a little research, a little dig, into the eclipse cycles. And I found a few interesting things. So I have my laptop here on my side because I do want to give you the correct date. So the last time, the very last eclipse. So obviously usually we have multiple eclipses in Aquarius, Leo, but last time we had the eclipse in the sign of Aquarius with the North Node. But funny that the North Node is still in the sign of Pisces, not even in Aquarius. But last time we had the eclipse in the sign of Aquarius with North Node being in Aquarius. So eclipse on the North Node was in 2009. So that was in August 5th, 2009. But I want to bring your attention to the one that happened before. At that time, eclipses were actually the eclipse in Aquarius was on a south node, but I want to mention this one because this one I think is very important, okay? And I'll tell you why. So this eclipse actually took place on February 5th, 2000. And why this is an important eclipse, I feel, this was the last one of that lot, Aquarius and Leo eclipses. This was the very last one. There was no more after Aquarius, after this, until the, 2008. So why this I feel was important an eclipse, because this time we finished the cycle of the eclipses between Aquarius and Leo with the new moon in Aquarius. That was a solar eclipse. This was 5th of February 2000. 5th of February 2000, we had a solar eclipse in Aquarius on the south node. And the main reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is because it was conjunct both Neptune and Uranus, okay? So Neptune was in a closing phase on 4 degrees of Aquarius, and Uranus was in a new phase on 16 degrees. And the eclipse was actually on the 16 degrees. So again, the 16 degrees, right? 16 degrees, the tower, right? And we had it on the south node on 3 degrees. South node was on 3 degrees. 3 is the number of creation. Mercury was on 0 of Pisces and Mars was on 25 of Pisces. So again, Alpha and Omega over there, like Pisces being the Omega, 0 being the Alpha. Still Pisces is Pisces, the end of the cycles. But why I feel this is very important one is because we had the Neptune and Uranus conjunct in the eclipse. It was the new moon solar eclipse in 2000, and Pluto was still in a sign of Sagittarius at the time on the second decan, which is the Aries decan, 12 degrees. Pisces, again, Alpha and Omega, in conjunction with Chiron, 15 degrees. So actually Chiron at the time was in exact sextile with the eclipse. So there's a closing sextile, which is a liberation, the Aquarius. So I think that kind of, it poked my attention, eclipse with both Uranus and Neptune involved, Pluto technically still sextile in it, like everybody involved over there, I think this is significant. And Mars being on the Pisces, Pisces sign, 25, that's a Aries degree, and that is the Scorpio decan of Pisces. So, we were being initiated, into something that, obviously we have no idea what exactly, but we starting to learn. Okay, so then the next one, as I already mentioned, which was the final one with North Node, final eclipse on a North Node in Aquarius of that lot, was in 2009, as I already mentioned, August 5th. And that one was conjunct, Moon was conjunct Jupiter, Chiron, and Neptune. Neptune was ending Aquarius. It was actually in 25 degrees. So again, the 25 degrees coming up over here. And Mars, I'm paying attention to Mars. Mars was in Gemini. So that's all about the choice, right? What are we choosing? And also, Uranus is going to enter into the sign of Gemini, back into the sign of Gemini in April. So that was the last one on the North Node in Aquarius. Then we had one more since, which was on a South Node in Aquarius. So that one was on July 27, 2018. July 20. Oh yeah. And during the one in 2009, Pluto was, of course, already in a sign of Capricorn. And I think it was on 0 degrees, if I remember correctly. Yes. So yeah, going back to the last one on the North Node in 2009, Pluto was on 0 degrees of Capricorn. So then, as I started saying, the last one on the South Node in Aquarius was in 2018, 27th of July 2018, and that was a lunar eclipse, just like it was in 2009, lunar eclipse. So in 2000, we ended with the solar eclipse in Aquarius. 2009 and 2018, we ended with the lunar eclipse, full moon, right? There was no more new moon after that one, which was the eclipse. And during this time, Pluto was still in a sign of Capricorn, second decan, 19 degrees, which is the Sankan rebirth, and there's a Taurus rebirth of the foundation. Obviously, 2018, we had Uranus already entered Taurus, 2 degrees choice, already entered Taurus, and Uranus was squaring the eclipse. It was in a T-square with the eclipse, just like we have now, but now we have no T-square because it's a new moon. So Uranus was squaring the eclipse, and Mars was in Aquarius, also conjunct the moon, 3 degrees, just 3 degrees, exactly like the North Node was, right? South Node, 3 degrees, which was in 2000. So now we go into the present moment, and that's obviously what we're dealing with. And I do have my thingy here, so I don't have to keep looking at my laptop on the side. So this one, for me here in Mexico, this is happening at 6 in the morning, 6:01 in the morning, 17th of February, 2026. And of course we have this stellium between Aquarius and Pisces, because already few planets moved into the sign of Pisces. Venus is in Pisces, right? Mercury is in Pisces. North Node, of course, is in Pisces. As I mentioned, Venus and North Node have an exact conjunction right before the eclipse, and the eclipse is happening on 28 degrees. This is another one of those new moons which is on 28 degrees as of Libra new moon back in October. Yes, October, that was the first one on 28 degrees. This will end with the Pisces new moon next month. And then as of new moon in Aries, which will be in April, mid-April is the late one, that one will be on 27 degrees. So then the number starts decreasing. So 28 adds up to number 10, which is the reset point. We are at the reset point. And this one, once again, is conjunct Mars. Mars is in a closing phase conjunction, even though the Sun and Mars conjunction already happened, so they are in a new cycle. But as a static object at the sky, Mars is in a closing phase conjunction with this eclipse on the 19 degrees. 19 degrees, this is where the eclipse happened last time, right? 19 degrees, what did I see on the 19 degrees? No, that was on the 4 degrees, that one. 19 degrees, I don't know where I saw the 19 degrees, I forgot what I already said. But yeah, this one, Mars is on the 19 degrees regardless, so that is the rebirth point. Yeah, there was something on the 19 degrees. It's now really bothering me, so I'm gonna pause. Yes, I found it. It was Pluto in the last eclipse round. So the last one in the 2018, Pluto was on 19 degrees. So now we know, because I was like, okay, I just mentioned something on 19 degrees because I know about the Sun, the rebirth. So yes, Mars is an active participant. Of course, Venus, North Node, active participant. Mercury in his pre-retrograde shadow on that 16 degrees. Again, 16 degrees, right? 16 degrees. This is the Tower moment. And as I already mentioned, we are entering into the year of the fire horse. So many people know we've been in a year of the snake, right? There's been a lot of shedding, a lot of skin being shed. And now, obviously, the last of it was the hardest one. But now the fire will come online, so it will just burn whatever's left of it, and the horse will trample all over it. And funny fact, this year of the fire horse will end with another eclipse in Aquarius, which will be next year on February 7th, I believe it is. February 7th or February 6th. February 6th. February 6th, 2027, we'll have the new Moon Solar Eclipse again. And that's when the goat year will begin. I believe it's an earth goat next year. So that's when the fire horse will end. So it's interesting that all of this lunar year we have kind of connected to this new moon in Aquarius recently. Last year it was new moon in Aquarius. It wasn't an eclipse, but that's when the snake started. Now we have the eclipse in Aquarius. Next year is an eclipse Aquarius again. And also another interesting anomalies that I noticed, which I'm going to share with you, is that we have no lunar eclipse in Leo. This time around, we have only solar eclipses in Leo, 3 solar eclipses in Leo, and we have only 1 lunar eclipse in Aquarius. I thought it was only solar eclipses in Aquarius, but we do have 1 lunar eclipse, which is next summer. So next summer 2027, we will have 3 eclipses. 3 eclipses. So in 2027 and 2028, we will have 5 eclipses instead of 4. Now wait for it. In 2029, we will have 6 eclipses. During the year of 2029, I'm repeating, we will have 6 eclipses in that 1 year. So this is where we can see how things are getting very, very significant, okay? So next year we will have a lunar eclipse in Aquarius. That will be the only one. We will have no more lunar eclipses in Aquarius after that, and we will have no lunar eclipses in Leo at all. What does this mean? There is a lot of seeding of a new energy. Next time we will have the eclipses in Aquarius and Leo, so the south node will be in Aquarius. We will have only lunar eclipses in Aquarius, so there will be a lot of illumination throughout, 2035, 2036. So there are all these interesting patterns that are being introduced and established that are saying that things are really changing. And once again, in 2029, before we enter into another decade, we will have 6 eclipses. So this is a crazy astrology that we are entering into, and this is the initiation, because this is the first eclipse in the sign of Aquarius, and it is with North Node in Pisces, with Neptune on 0 degrees in Aries, and Saturn as the first lunation with Saturn in Aries on 0 degrees, anaretic degrees, and with that Mars, like I mentioned, 19 degrees, which adds up to number 10. What year are we in? Number 10, which is the 0 and the 1. What degree is this eclipse? 28 degrees, which is the number 10. So, I mean, guys, I don't need to tell you anything about the aspects. I don't need to tell you anything about the astrology because it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you have a bunch of things in Aquarius and Pisces. Yeah, because we are ending cycles, beginning new ones. That's quite obvious. Thinking about the animals, the snake, it's all about shedding, transformation, metamorphosis. We had this transition in a year with Saturn, Neptune, Uranus going back and forth, right? Chiron is preparing for his first ingress into Taurus, and everything is shifting into the sign. I mean, Chiron is going to go back into Aries, but everything else is going to stay. Saturn, Neptune is no more going back into Aries. As I mentioned before, for many of us, we will not experience Saturn in Aries again. None of us will experience Neptune, in Pisces. Don't even worry about Aries. Many of us will not experience Saturn in Aries or Pisces again, but definitely none of us will experience Neptune in Pisces ever again, because we won't be around in the next 160 years, right? And Uranus is entering into Gemini at the end of April, right? Gemini, the choice, which is where Mars was when we had the last eclipse on the North Node in the sign of Aquarius in 2009, right? 2009. So there are a lot of very significant things going on in the sky right now, which are saying the old cycles are ending, the snake year is ending. What have we been shedding, right? Because we are preparing for this new to come in. It's already here, yeah, but it's not yet manifest, because Aries is just a new energy which doesn't have a form yet. It will not have a form until Saturn moves into Taurus, right? Then it will start giving in that form. So we have a little bit to wait, 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. And of course, Chiron being a sign of Taurus. What is this about? This is about 2022, when the North Node was in a sign of Taurus. What were we learning? Are my needs being met? This whole 5 years from 2020 and 2025, we were learning about what really matters to me. Who am I? Who am I in relationship to anything? What is the story behind it, right? And now 2025 to 2030, or 2026, 2030, right? Now you're going to start choosing based on your findings throughout these last 5 years, and obviously that previous cycles that build it up to that, but these 5 years everybody has been paying more attention, and astrology became very popular suddenly. So yeah, when Chiron moves into the sign of Taurus, which will be June 19th, I believe, for the first time until September, right? And then it's gonna go retrograde. So what have we been learning when the North Node was in a sign of Taurus? Was about, well, what do I really deserve? And why do I not have what I feel I deserve? Why is that? Because I feel that I'm not worthy, or what's going on here? Uranus has been in a sign of Taurus since 2018, right? Like, it already was in a sign of Taurus when we last time had the eclipses in Aquarius, Leo. So this Uranus has been completely breaking our foundation. It's just about to go into Gemini, at the end of April, not going back to Taurus in our lifetime again, So this is again, it's with the Chiron going in the sign of Taurus, it's saying that what you're going to manifest by the time Saturn gets there, Chiron is preparing us because it's the key for between the Saturn and Uranus. It's saying it depends on how much you value yourself, how much you believe in yourself. Now we have this Uranus in Taurus, final decan Capricorn, right? Final decan 27 degrees 32 minutes because it's post retrograde. So that's the 9 and a 5, right? Which is 5. 9 and a 5 is 14, which is number 5. Yeah, the temperance and the 5, the chaos agent. So this is a square to the eclipse from Uranus, the ruler of the eclipse, which is saying that this is a crisis in action. Something has to change. Why? Because the old foundation is gone. Why? Because it was built on a sense of that I don't matter. My value is determined by someone else. My value and what I deserve is being decided by someone else. Well, this is not going to fly in the age of Aquarius, with the Leo in opposition and Jupiter soon to go into the sign of Leo, right? Last day of June, first day of July, depending where you are in the world. So this square from Uranus to the eclipse, which is the crisis in consciousness square, and Sun, like I mentioned, the exact square between Sun and what do you call it, Uranus, right? Sun and Uranus is 2 days before. Let me see, where am I? Is on a Sunday, right? For some of you it's on Monday. For me here is at 11 p.m. So, for a lot of people it will be on Monday already. So you can say day before the eclipse, okay? So the exact square is the day before the eclipse. But with regards to the Sun and the Uranus, or the new moon and the Uranus, this is the first quarter square, which is the crisis in action. So even though, we might say like, okay, the Sun is preparing for closing the cycle with Uranus, which began last year when they last had a conjunction, as a static object in the sky, this is a new square. With regards to the cycle between Sun and Uranus, it's a closing square, so crisis in consciousness. But we're gonna play with it as a crisis in action, because by the time, I am not 100%. No, they are gonna have a first conjunction with Gemini. Yes. They are gonna have a first conjunction in Gemini this year. Last year they still had a conjunction in Taurus. And this is starting a new cycle between Uranus and Sun, conjuncting the sign of Gemini, which is all about the choice. It is all about these new timelines, right? So going back to this chart of this eclipse, and Venus conjunct in North Node. Venus is exalted in Pisces. That's the unconditional love, as I was talking about before, in my, I think it was practical application. Unconditional love, how we understand it as a humans, is something very different to how universe understands it, and higher self and God and, like spirit, it's very different things, because it's neutral, non-judgmental. It has to be fair for everyone, So this is what is being seeded here. Also, Pluto is sextiling Saturn and Neptune. This is a first sextile, which is Taurus. New foundation has to be created. Mars is still in the sign of Aquarius, 19 degrees, as I mentioned, exactly where Pluto was last time with the eclipse. In the sign of Aquarius on the south node, which was a lunar eclipse, illumination. It was in July. So here we got all of these energies that are saying, okay, something, and it's 19 degrees, number 10, as I already mentioned, the reset. Something new has to be manifest. This is a second decan of Gemini for second decan of Aquarius, which is the Gemini for Mars, being on 19 degrees of Aquarius. A new choice have to be made, right? Why? Because also with the Jupiter is making a trine. Technically still making a trine to the North Node. Venus, it's coming into the exact trine, not yet, but it's already felt. Like I said, that exact trine is at the end of next week between Venus and Jupiter retrograde. And this is a supportive aspect. I already mentioned a million times, Jupiter is connected to every single lunation because it's ruled by it's moved by Moon being the sign of Cancer. So this is all about the expansion of consciousness. Jupiter is preparing for his ingress in Leo later on. Still retrograde until March 10th. But Jupiter in Leo, it's like, it's going to blow up all your desires, all your creativity. But again, it's connected to this Taurus. Do I feel I deserve? This is going back to 3 years ago, when Jupiter was in the sign of Taurus. That was actually, where are we? 2026 Leo, 2025 was Cancer, 2024 Gemini, 2023 Taurus, right? So that's taking us to these cycles. I think that was when it was the South Node with Libra, right? So it was somebody else might not understand your values, your needs, might relate to reality differently. So this is very individualistic energy. Even though you might say Venus is in Pisces, there's unconditional love, Mercury is in Pisces, that's connected to spirit in universe. But again, you have to understand that spirit doesn't perceive reality the way you do. Spirit doesn't feel the way you do. Unconditional love for universe means something completely different than what it means to you. It is not fluffy and this I have a preference because this is a nice person, so I'm gonna reward. No, universe unconditional love is neutral. It's all about equality. It's about justice. So here is where a new energy is being seeded with a new Moon Solar Eclipse in Aquarius in connection with the year of the fire horse. Fire, masculine energy, Saturn, Neptune in Aries, masculine energy, in sextile with Pluto. In Aquarius, masculine energy. Uranus moving back into Gemini at the end of April, masculine energy. Chiron is still in a sign of Aries, and it will be again for the, almost second half, the last quarter of the year in Aries. So we'll have a lot of masculine energy. So now we had a lot of opportunities to feel all these things and to learn all these things. And now what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do when this foundation is, Uranus is almost done with the sign of Taurus as the ruler of this eclipse. And now the horse is coming online. Horses are all about freedom, right? They wanna roam free. And it's the fire, it's gonna burn everything that's in its way if it's not pure. If it's not pure, it's gonna be purified. This is kind of like the phoenix rising coming online, right? So there is a lot of stuff going on. I mean, yeah, Pluto sextiling, Uranus sextiling, right? Uranus is sextiling. What is Uranus sextiling? It's like showing to this. Oh yeah, Saturn and Neptune. Yeah, technically you can say Uranus is sextiling Saturn and Neptune, even though it's out of sign sextile, and that for Saturn is close into Uranus, so that will be the Aquarius flavor, and Neptune Uranus is the new flavor, and Neptune of course is the unconditional, the all that is, the absolution, the absolute. So anyway, without looking at the chart anymore, what do we have going on here? We have this new energy, which we've been already tapping into, probably for a long time, but more consciously since 2023, when Pluto started dipping his toes into the sign of Aquarius. And now we have Aquarius new moon solar eclipse. So now following the snake, following the dragon, which was all about step into your power, following the snake, right? Like now, we have the strength, now let's shed it, because, the year 8, the strength, cultivation of the strength, and then the year 9, culmination of the old cycles with the snake. And now we are in a year 10, which is the reset, year 0 and the 1. So we're creating a new direction. And this Aquarius is really, really saying that, okay, now we're really stepping into this age of Aquarius. Pluto's in Aquarius, Saturn, Neptune is in Aries. They're just about to have a conjunction. So the old is on its last leg. Uranus is soon to be moving into Taurus, Gemini, right? Sorry, from Taurus to Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So we're going to have all these retrogrades connected to it, and Jupiter until the end of June is still in the sign of Cancer. So it's exaggerating the feelings of discontent. Why is this happening? Why is something else not happening? Which is forcing us to take responsibility. If I want change, I need to take responsibility. I need to make it happen myself, right? So this is what this Aquarius is initiating us into it. We will have the full moon in Aquarius in summer on the 29th of July. That will not be an eclipse. As I mentioned, the only full moon lunar eclipse in Aquarius will be next year in July. And that will be the one and only. And we will have, once again, I repeat, no lunar eclipse in Leo. No lunar eclipse in Leo. Only solar eclipse, which is really initiating this new authentic expression. And with Jupiter being in the sign of Leo by the time of the new moon lunar solar eclipse in Leo, which will be on August 12th, it is going to really blow it up. Like, what is my authentic expression? For most of us, we know what it isn't anymore, because this doesn't feel right, because Jupiter in Gemini brought the nightmares to my head, and Jupiter in Cancer made me feel overwhelmed by everything that I feel, so I can't ignore it anymore. So Jupiter coming into Leo is gonna go like, hey, I cannot be anything other than who I am, because my brain is screwed, like it's fried, and my feelings, like I had to learn to deal with reality in this new way, right? So there is a whole new chapter entering for humanity, and the horse is saying, just go with it, just flow with it, just run free, because as I mentioned before, the Aquarius is not what you think. We only know the Saturnian expression of Aquarius, which is now done and dusted. Saturn is already in a sign of Aries. Forget about the Pisces now. It's already in a sign of Aries, which is a new energy. I mean, still in the final few minutes before it hits Neptune. So the cycle is not yet reset between the two, but by the time of the full moon Virgo eclipse, lunar eclipse in Virgo 3-3 portal, Saturn will be in a new phase conjunction with Neptune. So it is wild. It is wild. This astrology is wild. It's crazy. I mean, 3 eclipses next summer, like, hello. There's gonna be a potent energy over there, and ushering us into all the other things. And then in 2028 again, 5 eclipses 2027, 5 eclipses 2028, 6 eclipses 2029. So we in for a ride, and this is the initiation. I mean, we're still culminating the last astrological year. That is not to reset until the equinox, right? Equinox, when Sun enters into the sign of Aries next month. But we will have not new moon in Aries until mid-April, because everything is a bit changed this year. So we are still closing the old astrological year, and of course with the Pisces, because as I mentioned, Sun will enter into the sign of Pisces on the 18th, so the day after the eclipse. With the Pisces, it is about endings. You know, things are still ending, but alongside with all these endings, there's already a new beginning, because Neptune is in Aries. So I think that's all that to be said about that, because the old is gone, the new is not yet fully manifest. It is already here, but it's not yet fully manifest. And Aquarius is saying we're breaking the pattern. It's in square with Uranus. Actually, the full moon in Aquarius in summer will be trined by Uranus. There will be a lot of supportive aspect to that full moon. So we will understand more by the summer, because there are so many things that's going to change between now and the summer. And then, of course, by the time this cycle ends, which will be the next eclipse, as I mentioned, in February next year, which will then usher in the year of the goat, the energy will shift, and next year will be the year 11. You can say it's a year 2, but it's also the year 11, master number frequency. So we'll be climbing a new horizons, and this fire is gonna take us there, throw us there. You know, you can either go running on the top of, on the back of the horse, or be dragged by it. I mean, either way you're going. Either way we going, we all going, like there is no stopping, and there is no leaving anybody behind, whether in physical form or not, doesn't matter. Everybody's going, because this is the new chapter for humanity. Once again, we don't have to like it. I don't have to like it. It is not about preference. It is about a new cycle for humanity, and that's what we are entering into. And the eclipse, this has been destined. This is what we all sign up for. It's happening. It's here, with Saturn, Neptune on 0 degrees, and Mars on the 19th, with the reset point, and the eclipse on the 28th. So this is a powerful energy, really, really powerful energy. So just flow with it. It's going to be a fast year. It's going to be a very fast year, and there will be a lot of happening. And for me personally, I feel it's going to be like, multiple years in one energetically, but like 2 completely different years, like between now and July, and then from July onwards, Leo season, until the end of the year, there will be like completely 2 different years. So let's see, because of course the second half of the year will have the full moon eclipse, full moon non-eclipse, full moon in Aquarius. Just like we had no solar eclipse in Pisces, we only have lunar eclipses in Pisces. There's still that one in August this year, and we'll have no lunar eclipse in Leo. Only solar eclipses in Leo, and only one lunar eclipse in Aquarius for this cycle. So yeah, let's pull some cards on that, and let's pay attention to where all of this is gonna take us. But I really feel, that there is, it's not like there is nothing to do, but you just be guided to what you need to do. It is not about planning and organizing, because what was is gone. What worked before is not going to work. It's going to be something different. The outcome might be completely different, because everything is changed. Everything is changed, and it will keep changing, and by the summer it will be changed even more so, with the nodes shifting at the end of July. So yeah, we'll have the full moon, non-eclipse, full moon, just full moon in Aquarius will be the first lunation with the nodes in Aquarius and Leo. And the new moon solar eclipse in Leo will be the first new moon with the nodes there. So anyway, let's pull some cards, because there is a lot of information. So let's see what the cards want to say about this new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius, alongside with the fire horse beginning. What is the energy that wants to come through for these two? Okay, we have 2 cards. Perfect. 2 cards, 2 things. Attraction and abundance. Number 44, you can say master number frequency, double digit, which is number 8. Attraction, it is not about chasing, it's like about attracting, right? It's I don't chase, I attract, right? That is the Aquarian thing. There is a whole universe, but we need to learn how to tune into what we want, not push it or force it. And abundance, number 38, number 11, next year, number 11, 38, creating abundance. 3, co-creating with the spirit. 3, number 8 is the manifestation of the success, the infinity, right? The infinity. And we are in the year that contained the magician, which got the infinity symbol, just like the strength card number 8 has the infinity symbol. So we have that there is an opportunity to manifest abundance, attract whatever you desire into your world. Also, you see the full moon, and this is a harvest moon, so this is usually in autumn, in fall, like around the time of the equinox. Like, I think there's a full moon in Aries usually, but yeah, I feel more like perhaps the solar eclipse in Aquarius next year, but it's not really a fall. But I really feel, okay, what do I feel intuitively about this card is that humanity now reached that point, and I know I talked about it previously, I'm sure I mentioned it, that we are being granted more freedom, more power, like you have, I have, we all have the opportunity to step into our power, to allow more of our higher soul, our oversoul to be present in our experiencing of life as humans, right? So that's a harvest for humanity. We've gone a long way, we've gone a long way as a humanity, long way to get to this point because, of everything that's been, happened prior and how we reset and whatever. So we do have the opportunity, to attract and manifest whatever we desire, but it has to be, I feel, it has to be in alignment with the natural laws, with the universal laws, because for some reason, this person kind of comes across as like a justice lady. Doesn't it look like a lady just, even though it doesn't have the scales? But yeah, Libra season, hello, yeah, thank you, Libra season, yeah, justice. It has to be just. It has to be win-win-win for everyone, not just few, not just the 0.1%, right? It has to be fair for everyone. That's the Aquarius, right? So that's what I feel like. Maybe with the full moon in Aquarius, we will see like, okay, where things are more unjust, why is this happening? What needs to be corrected with regards to how this world is run, how, reality is being experienced, whatever it is. But we are in the time of harvest as a humanity, like with these energies being granted to us, with these energies being present and working with us alongside it. And okay, it just came to me. This eclipse is making an exact, almost sextile to the new moon in Sagittarius we had in December, which was on 28 degrees. There was a final lunation for 2025, new moon in Sagittarius, but also that was connected to the galactic center, right? Galactic center. So this eclipse is sextile in the galactic center, right? So that's what I feel. We came a long way, this is a supportive aspect. This moon is sextile in that moon, the Sagittarius new moon, sextile, first sextile, if you think about it. Even though between Sagittarius and Aquarius, you can see it's a closing sextile, but doesn't matter. Whichever one you want to look at it, either way, it's a supportive aspect. It's saying we are supported, we are supported, we are granted a lot of opportunities, a lot of power. Okay, you can say, well, there's a square by Uranus. That doesn't feel too great, but the Uranus square is just saying that the old is gone. Don't go looking in the past. Don't go focusing on the past. Venus is in Pisces. Like the past is the past. She's in a new fake conjunction with this North Node by the time of this eclipse, because they were conjunction right before. So it's saying we now tuning into something else. Neptune is in Aries, something else. It is not the past. It's something else. Neptune is in Aries. Saturn, as the core ruler of Aquarius, is in Aries. We're tuning into something else now. It is not the past. It is not the old books, the holy books. No. This just, yeah, you can look for a reference, but this is not what is going to play out. This is not what it's going to be. It's going to be something different. Aries, Aquarius is going to be something completely different. But one thing is guaranteed. You are in a position to attract and manifest 44-8. Manifest the reality you want to experience, because it's time for humanity to harvest, to be granted the fruits of everything that was sacrificed and everything that was being offered to get to this point. We are here standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, So everything that's been done prior to me, now we have the opportunity to take the fruits of that labor, of that sacrifice. But we need to attune, the attraction. It doesn't just like I want, you know. Like with the universal laws, it's like, yeah, if you can tune into the frequency, why would you say like, oh, well, why bad people have money or something, They can tune in, And yeah, here is resistance. Okay. We're resisting. What are we resisting? We holding on tight to what we know, to what was, Like, yeah, there's a person holding on to the, like, nature, This is kind of like the Taurus, The things that we know, we are holding on to them. Or like we grabbing, we grab into the things that, like, I need this to survive and whatever. And you see that the birds are flying away because, okay, I might feel I deserve this is for me, but is this fair for everyone? So that's what I feel like, there are, and I'm not saying this is just the normal folk or this is just the, the people in charge, but there is a resistance because the normal folks are scared, like, okay, well, I already don't have much, and what does this mean for me? Am I going to lose everything? And how am I going to survive? And then obviously the power in charge, they don't want to lose what they got, like if you look at it from that perspective, like I'm holding the world in my hands, like I'm in charge here. But nobody's really in charge. The Mother Nature is in charge, like the universal laws, they apply to everyone, no different. If the earthquake comes, tsunami comes, whatever, they don't care. If the house they destroy is a poor person or a rich person, they don't care, Everything goes. So yeah, so there is a lot of resistance. Yeah, maybe it is the resistance from the dark forces, you can say. Like, well, there are not all people that want this, but there is also a resistance from people that want that because they're afraid, They're afraid that what does this mean, I don't know how to live in this way. Attraction, vibration, frequency, what does this mean, How can I make it happen in my life? So there is a lot of change, if you think about this. This is like nature, Virgo, adjustment, South Node in Virgo, right? This is a eclipse that is in opposition with that South Node in Virgo. So there are a lot of things at play, Not everybody likes what's happening, but it's time. It's time because, this has been, you can say, has it been predicted? It's been promised, Like many of us came here to incarnate at this time because of this. Because, yeah, I knew there will be time in my life when this will become possible. And the time is now. Let's see what the sun wants to say. Because it is sun and the moon meeting together in this 28-degree point sextile in the galactic center in the sign of Aquarius. Synergy. Coming together, anyone? The sun and the moon, 24, which is the number, well, you can say it's the number of endings, 12 times 2, but also number 6, balance and harmony, synergy. So that's what I feel. It has to be fair for everyone. It has to be fair for everyone, not just I take and I destroy. So then the birds have no home, but I'll have money or I'll have something, hotels, right? No, it has to be fair for everyone. It's the reconnection with the natural laws, with the nature, with all aspects of ourselves, the shadow and the light, the feminine and the masculine, everything has to be balanced. And yeah, the beautiful flowers, this looks to me like summer. So the illumination of this will be in the Leo season, like what are we balancing? Why is this happening? Because some things cannot go any further. The extreme, the imbalance is so huge, it's so vast that it cannot go any further. So synergy, things have to be synergized, they have to be balanced. And then at the bottom, yeah, mental health again. This card came up last time, I believe. It came up recently, also in the personal readings for clients, and this is the number 16, which is the Tower. Again, the number 16, like I said, this first aspect that was being made, the moon in opposition with Jupiter after Saturn ingressed, 16 degrees, number 16, again 16. So we have to be aware That, you know, all these changes, even though, yeah, you know, like, yeah, this is like, spirit is coming online, we wanted this, yeah, I signed up for this, yeah, sure, but it still has an impact on our psychology, on our physical body. So take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, you know, because there is a lot of strain on the nervous system, as everybody talks about the nervous system this year, but there is a lot of pressure on everyone, because, you know, when things change, and when the things change suddenly for all of us, myself included, it is a shock, you know, and that's why we have to take care. You have to take care of yourself. All right, let's see portals. The Gateway of Light Activation Oracle from Carl Gray, the portals. What portals are opening at this new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius and the beginning of the fire horse year, please? Thank you. Okay, again 2 cards. Two cards. Holy Grail, inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. Yeah, the Christ consciousness also, it is not some one person coming to save you. It is a frequency, it is an energy, it's available to all of us. It lives in your heart. You know, the heart is neutral, it's impartial. And then I am presence. Light body activation, accessing the divine within. Look at all this beautiful light. The light body is coming online. That's what the Aquarius is bringing. Because we cannot continue on this planet the way we are. You know, being asleep at the wheel, having somebody else run the show. I mean, yeah, it's your higher self, but thinking that I don't have no power, I don't have no choice, that's it. You know, my life is completely, I'm the victim of everything, you know, I'm at the mercy of everything. We cannot continue living this way, because it's too at this time, at this far off in the game, it is just too much for the physical and the mental and the spiritual and emotional body to handle. So yeah, the light body activation, and at the bottom is the heart of the source. All encompassing love, unconditional acceptance and serenity. Look at these beautiful cards. So this is what is coming online with the solar eclipse in Aquarius. Okay, I'm gonna just briefly read some of these messages, because I mean, 3 cards, but I have never pulled these before. Holy Grail. Okay, I'm not gonna read about all of it, just your message. Holy Grail. You have been on a great quest, seeking, searching, discovering, but the further you've gone, the more your heart has called you back. You may still be looking for treasure, but you are now discovering that all roads lead back to you. The great source of creation holds up a shiny mirror in front of you, and you see your reflection. You are the answer. You are the divine. You are created. You are creating. The gateway of your divinity has opened, and the vessel of your being is flowing with infinite light. You have been searching for God, and God is within. So go within. This is the key to heaven. Your cup is overflowing. Your gifts are being unlocked. Let the worlds share your treasure. That's also the key. Chiron, moving into Taurus. Taurus is you, you know, your physical vessel. So we have that one. I am presence. The next card. Your message. You are experiencing a great shift, which is helping you understand yourself in ways that were previously impossible. This is an exciting time. You are connecting with the highest form of intelligence within you. The body of light within you is growing brighter, and you are becoming aware of how your actions and choices affect the unfolding of your future. The bright light you are expressing itself unapologetically. That's the Leo, and that will become even more profound once Jupiter enters the sign of Leo. All right, and the final one, the heart of source. Heart of source. And that's the unconditional acceptance and serenity. You are connecting directly with the heart of source, the creator of life and love. You are blessed to receive this card, for it shows the cup of your heart is being filled with love until it overflows. The divine energy that is within you, with you now, is helping you melt away any blockages so that you can be open to the love, acceptance, and appreciation that you deserve. You are being encouraged to view yourself in a loving way and give yourself permission to be loved. If you have been holding back for a while, but you are now ready to share the love you have within, this card lets you know it is safe to do so. You are loved, loving, and lovable. Step forward, claim your worth, and enjoy a new level of spiritual openness. You are truly blessed. So that, I feel, is the potential, for everyone. So this is what is being ushered in and unlocked with this new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius. Obviously, this is not where it ends. It's a potential and it's an energy. But again, it's about the attraction, tuning into it. Okay, bonus card will be from the Sacred Destiny, because this is a very destined time in a human history and your life. Okay, let's see. Your life will never be the same after this. And this is for everyone. Let's see. Illumination. And it's interesting because you can see all the light, but there is also a fog. So the things that are happening, I don't think necessarily make sense to logical mind. So the illumination is not coming from your mind. It is coming because also Mercury, shadow in Pisces, so this is all about attunement to a different language, to a different way of understanding. And then, as I mentioned, perhaps with the eclipse in Virgo, but I'm gonna pull the cards on that next time. But the eclipse, in summer, also the full moon, which is not an eclipse, but full moon in Aquarius. But there is an illumination coming with regards to our experiencing of life, like things are being illuminated to us because we're becoming aware, we're becoming more conscious. So our consciousness is coming online, especially with the other cards that I pulled, the light body activation. And at the bottom of the deck, we have relaxation. This is fun. And you can see another moon, and this is a lunar eclipse. Relaxation, that's what I feel like. You don't have to go looking for anything. You don't have to go trying to push or control or anything. And I'm talking to myself here as well, because we are entering into times where you don't chase, you attract. You attract what you are in resonance with, and the things will come to you, whether the things to teach you or the things to elevate you, so relax. This is a time of illumination where we are coming into different consciousness, and you can see there is the new moon here. Illumination of our psyche in a different way, of our higher mind is being activated. Okay, and the final card, which will be the major arcana of the tarot. Let's see. What is the message from the major arcana of the tarot about this new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius in conjunction with the beginning of the year of the fire horse, please? Thank you. Okay. The Fool. That's what I mean. You will never be the same again. This is the beginning, the 0 point. Saturn, Neptune on a 0 point, and at the bottom we have the High Priestess. What it is, where it is that we're going, is not yet known to the conscious mind, but it will lead you to the abundance, the pomegranates. It leads you to creation of something new, the purity, the divine feminine, the different way of being, which is led from inside out. It is very receptive. It is not about this like pushing and doing and controlling. It is a completely different way of being. So we are at the beginning of that journey. Different way of being, connecting to your intuition, connecting to your psychic abilities. Like the higher priestess, she doesn't speak with the words. It's understanding the language of the universe. So that's why, a lot of verbiage. I mean, this video is almost hour long, but in reality, there is nothing really to say, because it's not about the words anymore. Mercury is in Pisces after all. So anyway, guys, with that, I'm gonna close. I hope that some of this was useful. And once again, if you're still watching, if you are interested in booking reading with me, I will be running a little mini sale between the 17th of February and 3rd of March, so for the eclipse season only. So if you would like to connect, then reach out. You can find me on my website, moonlightsoul369.com, and also on all the other social medias, which I mentioned before. But anyway, have a wonderful weekend, what's left of it, and great week ahead for the eclipses, and also beginning of the Pisces season, which is the ending of the former astrological year, which we are still in. And then, in March, the new one will begin after the eclipses. So have a great time, guys, and I'll speak to you again soon. Much love, everyone. Bye.